Myri. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Yup. This episode is some news. Once again, there's a lot of distractions out there. But what's going on in Minnesota, this is a big part of it, right? Because they want to deport, or they have deported a lot of Somalis, right? And this what starts a lot of the ICE raids or whatever is going on in the streets with the ICE. Well, this individual named Aimee Bock, right? Some executive for some nonprofit organization, food program, Feed the Future, right? Around the COVID times, she was in charge of that program, Feed the Future, this lady called Aimee Bock. So they're saying they're accusing her of taking bribes and all types of stuff. And she was getting government contracts from the government, getting the money from the government and using it, claiming she's using it to help children who are hungry. But a majority of the money went to her and people who had like catering business and restaurants. So they're charging her with $250 million. They already charged her actually, right? They charged her actually last year. She was locked up because of this. So the government was doing their audits probably and found out about this lady. Now, this is a story is just surfacing really, right? I seen the story yesterday. Aimee Bock, executive for a nonprofit organization that was taking money from the government, saying they're feeding these children. A lot of these children are from the Somali community. I guess that's where it's linked to the daycares, right? So this is bad, man. This is really bad. That's why they're deporting so much people from Minnesota right now. Because remember, if you look at this lady, she's not Somali. This lady's not Somalian. It's a white lady. And they're charging her with fraud, a fraud scheme, $250 million. She's in prison, right? Before they said she could first face 30 years. I'm guessing she's serving her time right now. She's locked up. But how much people are really talking about this? This is probably hitting, this is something new. So that's why there's no excuse for the ICE, but that's why the ICE is doing whatever they want because it's not just Somalis who's been doing the scam. They caught, look, this lady, Aimee Bock, who defrauded $250 million from the American government. How much people are talking about this story? When is this going to be really viral, or will the people look over this, right? This woman defrauded the US government saying that she's running some type of food program. She's an executive, right? We got to feed the children. So they're accusing her of taking bribes and using all types of money. This is what's going on. Well, how much people are going to talk about this story, right? This lady, she hustled the American government, but she's not Somali. Let me show you her picture. Her, this lady, there's many different pictures of her, right? Defrauded the US government. So now you got to look on it. It's not just the Somalis, even though they're saying it's a lot of the Somali community. It's not just them. It's not just the Somalis. It's the American, the generational American. So are people gonna stop with the stereotypes now? Because this is coming out. This just resurfaced, people. This just resurfaced. She's been locked up, right? They say 30 years. Trump wants, he doesn't care. He says 30 years for all them scamming what she was doing, taking bribes, um, um, giving restaurants money, like, from the Somali community, caterers money, getting kickbacks. So she was living it up. But she claims if she was guilty, she would have said she's guilty. Who's going to do that? So now the ICE, they're after everybody now, if you look on it. They're just not telling you that. So it all started in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right? Something big is going on down there, obviously. They've been deporting thousands of people. That's what Trump is gloating. They deported thousands of people, and now you're getting this. You're getting this story. So how much other people have benefited from the government system in Minnesota? This doesn't look good, right? You can't trust nobody. So she was running a nonprofit organization to feed the future. They call Feed the Future. That's the children in Minnesota. Most of the population, a big population, is Somali. So she was doing this, and the government actually was giving her money. That's why they said there's billions of dollars been scammed out of Minnesota. Like I heard the other scam, they're using what autistic children. They're applying for grants or some type of money for autistic children, and they got that money. They got that money, and they got the money for the daycares down there. So this lady is part of it. It's gonna get deeper. It's not a distraction. This is part of the whole thing. So this lady's been part of the whole shit. People don't want to see this. Aimee Bock. So the Magna people, they don't want to really see this because everybody's blaming the Somalis right now. A lot of people are blaming the Somalis in Minnesota for all the scams, what's been going on. They're blaming them for that. But guess what? This is a all-American who's been doing the scamming. All American been doing the scamming. $250 million, right? She's locked up and she's probably facing 30 years. So how much years are the rest of the people gonna get? How much years are they gonna get? That's what I want to know. If they're giving her 30 years, about that time, she's getting a lot of years for the scam. 250 million. The rest, the billions of dollars, are they planning? They're planning to lock up a lot of people from Minnesota. It must be because she's one of them. If she's locked up already, how much more is to come? So that's why ICE is really out there. You got to look on it now. ICE is out there to capture people who was probably involved in this scam. If it is $1 billion, billions of billions, millions, she had 250 million. You have to look on it. She had 250 million. So there's other people who had what, 50 million, 20 million here, whatever, 10 million. They charged that lady, who I think she's a politician. They're saying she had 30 million in her bank account. The one who married her brother, they're saying she had 30 million in her bank account and shit like that. So if she had 200 million, Aimee Bock, how much money did other people have? Right? So Donald Trump and them don't like to be, they don't want to be fooled. They don't want to be looking like an idiot. So they're going after the money. And this lady, she got that money and they put her behind bars. She's going to serve probably the 30 years. This is an example now, right? They just put out this story, I think yesterday. Will it go over people's heads, right? I want to hear about the people calling about, they're saying the Somalis were the scammers, they're the scammers. But yo, this lady, she's one of the biggest. Are they going to suppress this story? They probably might try to, but yo, it's been out there. If you look at it, it's not a popular story. It should be big, but she scammed the American government out of 250 million. I haven't seen the Somali ones, like anybody who's been locked up like this one so far. ICE have taken a lot of people, deported them. They claim they deported so much, but they haven't caught any of them. Maybe they have, but they're not talking about them. It's quiet. This one though is an example. They want to show you we'll lock up Americans too, people who are like this, Aimee Bock, they have locked up. So you have to look on it. They're telling you, yo, we're playing fair. Even though the ICE is out in the streets and they're saying the ICE is abusing people, the ICE is doing all types of stuff, they're showing you that they're doing their job because they need to find people like this. They want to find people like her, right? They want to find people like her. She's locked up, eh? She has no rights. They already charged her with the fraud, the 250 million fraud scheme, right? So how is this going to work out? Because it's a new story. Are people going to be um, talking more about this, or are they going to not talk about this? I think a lot of people are scared, especially the MAGA. The MAGA people are scared of this story because it doesn't fit the narrative. It's not the immigrant. She was helping the immigrants. She was doing scams, feed the future, right? They put her in charge. She had an important position and $200 million. She was taking kickbacks. She was getting the money, right? She gave Somali companies or whatever, the restaurants, the caterers, she was giving them money to do their business. But guess what? Let's see. I want to see, like, in a couple of days, if they're going to talk about this. It's $250 million. It's not like she stole $10,000. She was doing this for a while, right? They locked her up about what, last year? She's, you could tell she's lying. She's been benefiting from the government funds. And like I'm saying, Trump is putting things out. He's doing a hit everywhere with whatever, the FBI. He's really putting them to work, man. Because like I said in an earlier episode, the Epstein files are being reintroduced by Cash Patel, and Clinton and his wife doesn't want to go. They don't want to go to court. That's something else. But I'm saying how Trump is on people's ass right now. He's on other people's ass. He's bringing up shit, and this is to play with your brain, your mind, because everybody's accusing the Somali community of being the ones who are the only fraudsters, right? They're accusing only them of being the fraudsters. She was the head. That's what it seems like. Yes, she was the head. Yeah, much respect, Peter. Trust Scotty. Yes, how much people are talking about this? It's a new story. It's serious. So besides the Somalis, how much other people who are American, generational American, right, are the ones who was helping some of these Somalis? Because people were saying, right, no disrespect, but they're saying that the Somalis have a small IQ, a 6.7 or whatever, a small IQ, 67 IQ, right? But billions of dollars was stolen from the American government. That's why all this ICE stuff started. You have to look on it. The only reason a lot of this ICE stuff exploded once again, besides them deporting a lot of South Americans, the reason it started again is because they wanted to deport other type of people, and they were investigating other groups. There might be other groups after Minnesota. They're gonna go to other states. That's what the ICE is for. So the ICE is going to go to other states, do the same thing even more. But now the campaign is in Minnesota. And they got this lady. They really got her. They got her. She's locked up. Who else? Who's next? That's what you're going to ask yourself. Who is next? Who's next? Who they going to find? That's what I want to know. Because this lady stole 250 million. Americans should be mad, like how they're mad about the Somalis. I remember when that story broke, a lot of people were saying they should send them back, do all types of stuff. Now this lady, she's locked up. She has to probably get the 30 years. But the only reason this story has came up, they want to show an example now. Yo, any of you who in Minnesota, even if you're not Somali and you're a part of this scam, we're gonna lock you up too. We're gonna lock you up. So they locked her up. Aimee Bock, American, not a Somalian, but she was working with the Somalians. So how much other people's stories we don't know about? That's what I want to know. How much stories are like we don't know about? I believe what right now, even though you hear about these stories, they're trying to filter them out because like I'm saying now, they really want to get people angry, right? Angry. So by putting out this story, will it help the narrative? By putting out this story, what are they trying to say with this story with Aimee Bock? I don't think it's popular right now because especially for, I'm gonna straight say it, like the ones who were the MAGA, right? The ones who believe in Trump. That it's just these immigrants doing all this stuff. Not immigrants, I mean undocumented citizens, if you want to call it refugees. That these refugees from Somalia are the ones who are just doing it. But now you see that it's not just the ones from Somalia doing it. It's a lady, right? All American lady like this, what you're saying. But it seems, right? No one really wants to talk about this because she's locked up already. But no one wants to talk about this. They want the narrative to just talk about the Somalis, the refugee, or whatever, the refugees, the fraudsters, but forgot that there was a lady who was helping a whole community too, and she got about $200 million, right? And for a while, using that money. So how much other people were doing the same shit? How much other people were doing the same thing like Aimee Bock? She Maybe she's talking more. Maybe she might give up. She's the one giving up people to get her freedom. I guaranteed. If if they're saying she will get 30 years and she wants those 30 years broken down to just say she wants those 30 years broken down to like 5 years, like she's trying to get it down to 5 years, she's going to have to rat out everybody who was part of this scam. You got to think of it. Everybody part of this scam, she's ratting out. Those are the people who are probably getting deported. Yeah, those are the people who are probably getting deported. 100%. Everyone, if she's locked up, guaranteed, she don't give a shit. She's telling on everybody. You got to think of it. A lot of how much people was working with this scam, the $250 million scam. There's probably a big group that was benefiting off the $250 million scheme, guaranteed. So they're all getting deported. If they're illegal, I mean, if they're not, they don't have their visas, they're all getting deported. And this lady is the one probably telling, guaranteed, because she's going to serve jail time. She's going in, they said, about near 30 years. Does she want to serve 30 years? I don't think she wants to serve 30 years. Guaranteed, she's going to be talking, or she's already talked. Let's see how this plays out. But like I'm saying, I don't think I'm going to hear about this story out there besides what I'm reporting because, well, you're going to hear about the story, but it's not as big as how they're talking about the Somalis, right? It's not that big. And it's sad because this will show you how it's hypocritical in America. Very hypocritical that when it's now this lady is shown, no one wants to talk about it. It doesn't fit the narrative. Trust me, no one wants to talk about this. But when it's the Somalis and they're saying, "Oh, these guys, they have to go. They have to deport them, right? They have to go." But she was part of it. They said she was the head of it. She's the head of it. And how much more Aimee Bocks are there? How many more Aimee Bocks are there? That's what I want to know. There's probably a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of Aimee Bocks. See if there's like 10 to 20 Aimee Bocks, men and women. So if she was doing this, there's probably some more who was doing this, and they're not all Somali. They're pointing it out that is a white woman, right, who was part of this scam, right? This scheme, scamming the American government out of 250 million. That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. Let me look up Aimee Bock because Aimee Bock, no one wants to talk, right? Example, they're going to use her as an example. Well, they're using her as an example right now. They're using her as an example. Holy. And people thought it was just the Somalis. Aimee Bock masterminded the Minnesota's biggest fraud scheme. Oh shit. So she's the one who mastered the biggest fraud scheme. And we're talking about just the Somalis? Okay, let me read something. Aimee Bock, mastermind of Minnesota's biggest fraud scheme, says, I wish I could go back and do things differently. You wish you could go back and do things differently now. Oh, now people are gonna, they're supposed to feel sorry for you. Holy shit. Big ass thief, right? Minneapolis. The Trump administration had just justified the ongoing immigration crackdown in Minnesota, citing a need to curb fraud and pointing to the widening scandal involving members of the Somali American community, right? But yet prosecutors say the mastermind of the state's biggest fraud scheme to date was not Somali, but a white woman, 45-year-old Aimee Bock. How you feel about that? In an exclusive interview from a jail cell, Bock defended her conduct, admitting regrets and argued that the state officials who she worked with should bear some of the blame. What? It was her first time. So it was her first time. She shouldn't have went to prison. This is crazy, man. It was her first time. Box spoke publicly since she was arrested for her role in what prosecutors says it was 250 million COVID era effort to defraud a federal program to feed hungry children. Isn't that crazy? Whew, feeding our future, the now infamous nonprofit that signed up for restaurants and caterers to receive the taxpayer money for providing meals to kids, the Somali kids, right? Kids, I believe we were doing everything in our power to protect the program. It might not just be Somali kids, other American kids, but damn, she got 250 million and she's saying this is her first time. She should not go to prison. So far, prosecutors have charged the 78 defendants. So there's more. There's more people. I had a feeling. There's more people. It's my first time stealing 250 million. Yeah, you're right, Peter. You're right, Peter Truscott. It's the first time. That's kind of ridiculous. This is like a comedy right now, right? To protect the program. So far, prosecutors have charged 78 defendants connecting to the Feeding Our Future. They're probably getting deported, a lot of them, right? Feeding our future, with more than 60 pleading guilty and convicted at trial. All are Somali American except for Aimee Bock. You hear that? All are Somali American, but except from Aimee Bock. During the 5-week trial last year, prosecutors allege Bock signed off a reimbursement claim for millions of meals that were never served. That sounds like the daycare shit. This is bad, right? That were never served. Charged with collection bribes. She's also charged with collection bribes. Together, she and the meal site operators were accused of stealing tens of millions federal dollars in Minnesota, right? Federal dollars, spending it on luxury cars, real estate ventures, and vacations. Holy shit. There's no mercy for this lady. No mercy. I know all the Magna people ain't talking. All the people are kind of embarrassed. You should be kind of embarrassed. All the people who are saying, oh, it's like it's just Somali. And she's the head, one of the heads. She's the biggest one of all of them. She was using it on vacations. Vacations, people. The money did not go to feed the kids, said acting U.S. Attorney Lisa D. Kirkpatrick at the time. It was used to fund their lavish lifestyle. So they're charging this woman like mafia, yo. And she deserves the shit. She deserves to friggin' go to prison. Trust me. Right? What she wants. Oh, it's her first time. A jury convicted her on all counts, and she's now awaiting sentencing and facing up to 33 years. She's going to prison, buddy. People. She's going to prison. 33 years in prison. And I wonder how much years those other people are going to get. 33 years in prison. Evidence submitted to the trial included text messages where Bock compared feeding our children to the mob. What? Yo, this is just new news, people. I don't know if you heard the story. You see what this woman was saying? They got text messages of her. What is she trying to say? She's innocent. Yo, text messages where Bach compared feeding our children to the mob. The jury saw overwhelming evidence of what Brock knew, said lead prosecutor Joe Thompson. Following the verdict, she was at the head of the scheme from day one. She signed every single fraudulent claim that was submitted to the state of Minnesota. Whoo! She was signing all the shit, all that 250 million to get. Bach told CBS News she was neither the mastermind nor mob boss. Holy shit, this is like a movie. It was heartbreaking, Brock said, describing the moment she heard the verdict. I believe in accountability. If I had done this, I would plead guilty. So she just wants the Somalis to be blamed for this. I'm guessing she's going to probably rat a lot of them out. I would plead guilty. I wouldn't have gone to trial. I wouldn't have put my children and my family through what we have been through. I've lost everything. Woo! Last month, the judge ordered her to forfeit more than 5 million in proceeds from the scheme. So the judge told her forfeit that. She had it. Most of the million federal officials seized from her were sitting in the bank account for the nonprofit. Damn. Hello, Lawrence. Damn, for the nonprofit. So she had it in a bank. And Bach denied she personally lived lavish lifestyle. She downplayed the items FBI agents found at her home when they raided it in 2022. 2022, that's 4 years ago. No one knew about this shit 4 years ago. You got to see how the government will be quiet and they don't say anything until the time is right, right? Biden didn't want to talk about this. This is what Trump is accusing Biden's administration of doing, that they were being quiet about this shit. And that's why, remember, they accused Biden bringing a whole bunch of floodgates in. So he wanted to frig up Donald Trump in some type of way. But you see what Donald Trump's doing right now? You see what he's doing? Yo, you played with the wrong guy. I'm sorry, right? So Bach denied she personally lived a lavish lifestyle. She downplayed the items FBI agents found at her home. Yeah, yeah. In 2022, at her home, she had lived in for more than a decade. Okay. They found minimal jewelry, Box said. I believe it was like two pairs of earrings, a bracelet, a watch, and some cash there. This is getting worse. Box attorney Kenneth Odobach, I think, shared a video showing stacks of food that the meal sites operated by feeding our future contractors. Yeah, they could take pictures. Anyone could do that. Bach said she was doing everything in her power to root out fraud and terminated agreements with dozens of entities and believe they were cheating the system. So she's trying to blame other people. She's putting the blame on other people. Yo, guys, if this story doesn't get bigger, it's a big hypocrite the government is doing then. They gotta, and I think Trump wants to expose this because it's like reverse psychology. Everybody thought it was just Somalis. This will be the excuse why ICE is out there to search everybody. Remember what I said? ICE is not just out there for undocumented citizens or refugees or Somalis. When they are on the street, they're going to stop anybody. And if they see that you owe the IRS or child support or you have a criminal record, they're going to question you more than ever. If you have even a gun license, right? This is what's going. They found minimal jewelry. Box said, I believe it was like two pairs of earrings, bracelet, watch, and there was some cash. Box attorney, okay, I said that. Feed in the future. Box said she was doing it. Yeah, yeah. I was the only one that stopped. She wants to say she was trying to stop fraud. Bullshit. The sudden growth of Brock's organization was staggering. In 2019, Feeding Our Future submitted 3.4 million worth of meals. So they made sure they used some money to kind of cover themselves, right? 3.4 million worth of meal claims. In 2021, it submitted nearly 200 million. Bach attributed the increase to the looser guidelines during the pandemic that allowed parents to pick up meals and bring them home. As whether the spike in volume raised red flags at the time, Bach claimed she had signed off from Minnesota officials. So he's saying that they put out some money and made some of the families take meals home, but the majority of the shit They kept it. That's what happened. So they had to make it look like they're feeding somebody, right? But most majority of it was not used on that, right? We relied on state, she said, adding to local officials, including Rep. Inla Omar. Oh, that's where it's going now. That's where they're accusing her. That's her name, of the $30 million in her account, too. So they're coming for her next. Inla Omar, I think. Yeah, Rep. They're coming for her next, right? This is probably going on everywhere. Yes, it is. They're starting with Minnesota. That's the problem. He's targeting Minnesota first, then he's going to go to all these other states. So it's some of these people are going to lock up. They're going to see an example what's going on in Minnesota, and they're going to move fast right now. So the operation is like a war, people, in America. He's starting Minnesota first, then they're going to be going to other places because if they're doing it in Minnesota, you're right, they're doing it in a lot of states. This is just the beginning. It's going to get messy and crazy. Besides Minnesota, they're going to go to New York, they're going to go to California, they're going to go to the South, they're going to check all the books, and the ice is going to be everywhere. That get ready for it, right? So they're saying the other lady Omar would often visit the meal sites. We told the state this site is going to operate at this address, this time, this number of children. The state would then tell us and approve it. Omar has denied she was aware of individuals defrauding the food program and previously has condemned the misuse of funds. Minnesota government Tim Walz, which Trump don't like. Tim Walz has drawn widespread scrutiny for his handling of the fraud in the state. But Walz had defended the administration's response, saying we have spent years cracking down on fraudsters and accusing Trump administration of what? Politicizing the issue to defend programs that help Minnesotans. You better be damn quiet because I know that Donald Trump, he probably wants to arrest his ass too, right? He probably wants him, the mayor, to go to prison. He's probably saying, you're a part of this shit too, right? Right? So, the attorney said state officials at the time weren't particularly interested in stopping the fraud because the nonprofit was providing at least some food. So because they're providing some food, about 3.4 million, right? The 250 million, let's look over that. Let's look over that because it's this lady. Come on now, right? Providing at least some food to an important constituency during the time, significantly instability, right? Mm. What is a lie? What they're policing the fraudulent activities at any time. That's what the attorney's saying. They wanted a scapegoat. She ran the only food program in the state, so they pinned it on her. So they're trying to say they pinned it on her. Holy shit! A spokesman for Waltz did not respond to the request for comment. Bock spoke to CBS News in the aftermath of the killing of Renee Goodwood. Good. This is not good. You're responding as Minneapolis became a flashpoint in the administration push to crack down on illegal immigration. According to Bock, some of the individuals picked up in ICE sweeps are now being held at the jail. So she's at the jail with the rest of all these people who they are sweeping up. The ICE is sweeping up. She's with them, right? Sweeps are now being held at the jail where she is being held until she is sentenced. They're using her as an example. So if they could sentence her, they could sentence the rest of you. They're going to make an example. 30 years they're going to give her, and what they're going to do to the rest of you. She looks like another one of them old lesbian cat ladies. They're saying she was defending shadow ban. They're saying that she was defending the lady who got passed away in that whole thing, right? It's crazy. Like, rest in peace to that lady, but they're saying she was talking about it, right? In some ways, it's possible to trace the origins of the current tensions in Minnesota to Bach. Her nonprofit goods, her nonprofit Good was killed by ICE agent after the Department of Homeland Security surged thousands of personnel into the state with a twin mandate to enforce immigration laws and help investigate fraud. So all of this brought attention, man. It didn't help that she brought attention because she got locked up. Remember, she probably was talking when she was locked up, Bach. Yet, long before the issue of fraud became galvanized issue for the right and the father for the conservative influencers, oh, federal prosecutors in Minnesota and zeroed in zeroed in on Bach, a lifelong Minnesotan. Bach earned a degree in elementary education and held roles at daycares and early childhood centers before starting Feeding Our Future in 2016. Shit. This is the lady who was doing, she was doing a lot, yo. That's why it's $250 million. This goes deep. This ain't she's the one who had the biggest fraud out of all of them, but no one is really talking about this one as much. Maybe they might start talking about it later on, right? In the week. But she's not Somali. That's what's making a lot of people they don't want to hear, but this is facts. Our goals as an organization was to reach the kids that were not being fed, said Bach. Yeah, who has two sons of her own. There is there is kind of this quiet need in Minnesota. These food desserts were there, just not access healthy nutrition food for children. So she's talking a lot of stuff. The nonprofit be, the nonprofit became a so-called sponsor for two federal nutrition programs funded by the Department of Agriculture and overseen by Minnesota's Education Department that paid for kids' meals. During the school year and over the summer with the COVID hit, the USDA issued waivers and gave sponsors like Feeding Our Future more flexibility how they distributed the food. Have you heard about the single app being compromised? Yeah. Which one? You're talking about TikTok? She figured out how to get the money and then bribe them into a scheme. Yes. Yes. She bribed people into the scheme. So now she's trying to make herself like she's Miss Innocent. She's trying to make herself like she's Miss Innocent, people. But she's not innocent, right? Should you feel sorry for her? Should you? Should you feel sorry for her? I don't think so. There's more to her, right? Go Leafs. Yes. During the COVID, okay, now this one I'm gonna get. During COVID, for obvious reasons, parents were allowed to come and pick up meals. Bach explains. So we suddenly were able to reach more children. We were also able to deliver them to homes, right? But if there was billions of dollars being scammed out of Minnesota, this is a lie. You got to think of it like they're doing a whole investigation on this, the FBI. They already said daycares, people were saying they had these daycares and no children were in them. Think of it. They already broke down that these daycares, what was getting all these government funding, had no children in them. So, who are these children she's talking about who can't get nothing to eat? Sorry to say, not all of them, but they're saying a big percentage of people in the Somali community was part of this scam. That's why they're deporting thousands of them. I'm just putting it together. If they're deporting thousands of them, it's because this whole scam thing with the daycare, right? And the government giving money came up, right? Has to be. Make it make sense. It's for real. So this is what happened. During the COVID, for obvious reasons, parents were allowed to come and pick up meals. Bach explains, so we suddenly were able to reach more children and we were able to deliver meals to homes, right? Restaurants and caterers, particularly from Minnesota's large Somali immigrant community, were eager to sign up. So they're eager to sign up. So the Somali community, what people are accusing of robbing the government, is saying that the people were eager to sign up for this. This is where it's going to continue and getting hot, right? Bach said her organization was well positioned to fill the need because she got the money, right? To fill the need. But the state education officials were wary about letting in some of the business that applied. So they're kind of fishy about this, but it still went through. The Department of Education was sitting on the applications. Bock said they were just not processing them. They're just not processing them. As racial justice protests swept the country in the wake of the killing of George Floyd, it's interesting they're bringing this up, of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer. Bock filed a lawsuit alleging that the state scrutiny of Somali applications was discriminatory and deprived low-income and minority children access to desperately needed federal food programs. So she used the Black Lives Matter movement. This is what I'm seeing. When George Floyd got died, right? This is connected, people. This is getting more down to earth. Um, Let me read this again. It's connected to that. As racial justice protests swept the country in the wake of the killing of George Floyd, Minneapolis police officer, a Minneapolis police officer, Bock filed a lawsuit alleging the state's scrutiny of Somali applicants was discriminatory and deprived low income and minority children access to desperately needed federal food. Asked how she believes state officials received the lawsuit. So she done a lawsuit. She's crazy, yo. This woman is brave and privileged. She done a fucking lawsuit. That's why they went for her, right? Asked how she believed the state officials received the lawsuit, Bock acknowledged nobody wants to be labeled a racist. You hear what she said? The aggressive advocacy won her praise from the tight knit Somali community. So, because she was an advocate, aggressive, the Somalis loved her. That's what she's saying. Won her praise from the tight knit Somali community. One community leader told a local reporter Bock was a modern day Robin Hood. Shit. Bock was a modern day Robin Hood. Who's gonna describe this right now? Like, really? This woman, they're calling her a Robin Hood, yo. They liked what she was doing. Bach denied the lawsuit was a scarce tactic. The parties reached a settlement where Minnesota's education department agreed to process applicants to the meal program reasonably promptly. So she was so brave that she was putting a lawsuit, even though she's doing a scam. They told, like, she got encouraged by, like, what was her encouragement? The people really encouraged her to do a lawsuit. Like, this is exploited the children. Like, she was so brave to do a lawsuit. You're right. She exploited the children, the consciousness. Bless up. Yes, she exploited it. Damn. So the notion that the state government has paralyzed, well, is paralyzed and has to allow this level of fraud because they were afraid of what they might do in a lawsuit. Preposterous, Brock said. Years later, education officials told the state watchdog the threat of legal consequences and negative media attention intimidation them into easing off. Still, officials with Minnesota's Department of Education insist they did act. Nothing they were what? Nothing there were the ones who referred Bach to the FBI. So wait, I see what happened. The Department of Education referred Bach to the FBI in 2021. So let me read that again. Minnesota's Department of Education insists they did act. So it's them. In 2021, right? So they are the ones who acted. Criminals took advantage of the program even though the MDE met for exceeded federal regulations. The Education Commissioner wrote in a letter to the state watchdog, at all times, MDA made its best judgments about the authority for oversight in the context for legal requirements and pushback. So, they're the ones who reported this lady. They reported the lady because they were getting it, like she was still getting the money, but they reported her after some times. But when did she really get arrested, right? Was it around that time? Like, now she's awaiting her full sentence of 30. something years, 4 years after. It's 2026. It's 2026, right? And this started from, I guess they're investigating her from 2020. So she was using the COVID times, the George Floyd times, right? When there's the Black Lives Matter and the COVID in one to kind of make the state feel like they were like the most vulnerable at that time, and she scammed them, right? Those were her old co-workers that got jealous when they found out how much money she had. Her old co-workers got jealous. You're right, that could be part of it. Her old co-workers got jealous. Maybe she didn't pay off people. Could be that she didn't pay off enough people, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money she stole, right? She stole the money. She's the biggest one. So they said there's about 70 something people who's been actually imprisoned with her at wherever they are holding them in Minneapolis or Minnesota, and 200 and like I said, $250 million. 250 million taxpayers' money. American taxpayers' money was used on lavish stuff or things what she wanted to do with the community, what she was supplying, feed the children. So the daycare stuff, what they busted, right, is linked to this too. Because at the daycares, they need food, right? The children. There was no open daycares. So the people got that brave that they didn't make their children go to the daycares, and they're doing this fraud. How long did they think this was going to go for? Remember, Trump's not even been in for 2 years as the president. How long did they think that this was going to go for, that they're going to be doing a fraud system where they're getting money, the daycares, right? And then a lady like this is getting money and giving the community like millions of dollars for restaurants and for catering and shit like that. And she's making it look like she's the victim. And like, yo, really? This is the woman who scammed America. This she should have her own movie right now. But no one's good. Are they gonna really talk about it? Are people gonna talk about it? Really? Are they going to talk about the scamming that this lady's done the most in Minnesota? The most. And she's brave enough to talk about other situations, like recently what's happened to the lady, the first lady who was unalive in Minnesota. She's talking. That's not helping her case. She's going to get 30 years, guaranteed. 30 years she will serve, right? So she thinks she's special. She thinks she's special right now, that she should not be in prison. But she took money from the government and gave other people, and plus she was living off of it. So she's not supposed to serve any time. If she was smart, she would just admit what she has done in a way that she could get less time. Maybe that's what she's trying to do. Maybe she's trying to get less time. Just admit it. The way how she's trying to make her sound like she was innocent, that they needed the money to feed, they were feeding she's lying. They got her. They got her. But this is the thing in media, for example. Is this story really gonna go viral, or is it gonna go over people's head? I guarantee it's gonna still kind of go over people's heads, this story. Because it's not a Somali. It kind of will like the whole ICE stuff, what they're doing. It started in Minnesota, right? And they're saying that it's people who fraud the system. All the Somalis going to get deported. The visas, we're going to be stopping the visas. But this lady is American born. Now, how much more Aimee Bocks are there? How much more? Guaranteed there's more Aimee Bocks. If you're American, yo, see, the MAGA people don't want to talk about this. Everybody don't want to talk about this. This is kind of like, yo, if it was Somali, yo, shit, you'll be seeing a lot of people talking. But now it's not a Somali, it's American, a white lady who worked and scammed $200 million from the US government, right? The US government. It's not no Somalis. Well, it is some Somalis, but she's the head of it. They're saying she's the head of the biggest scam in Minnesota. It's from her. So this story just broke yesterday. This story, I guarantee, I probably will see some post on this. You might see some people talking about this, but this changes the whole picture. And they're going to say basically, ICE is the reason we need ICE now is for people like this too. We need to find out who was helping these illegal immigrants. We need to find out where all the money went. And this is an example. They want to find out where the money's gone, right? No one has nothing to say about this because it's this lady. It's kind of new. It's hitting people. This is hitting people right now. They have nothing to say about this. See? Quiet. But Trump this is what he's putting through, right? How does this song go? Ice Ice Baby. Yeah. Collaborate and listen. No, but was it Ice who got her? I don't think it's Ice who got her. See, the FBI got her. It's the FBI. But the ICE will use this. Maybe they're going to use this as a campaign to saying that now this is why we have to go out and do all these searches, right? It was ICE. So ICE got her about what 2000, about 2001. They got her about 2001 then, right? That's a couple of years. That's like 5 years ago. So they knew about this shit going on years ago. That's the point why I'm saying this is not like new. They knew about this lady doing this about 5 years ago or so, right? Maybe almost six. So she got in helping feed the future, whatever the children, and frauded out 250 million, and they didn't catch on until 2021, right? It's illegal to interfere with ICE investigation, which is arresting criminals. But look at it. This lady, before we knew about like ICE, people are talking about ICE now. You're saying she was taken by ICE about 5, 6 years ago? Was she taken by ICE 5, 6 years ago? That they said what, COVID, right? The nonprofit became so-called sponsor for two federal nutrition programs funded by the Department of Agriculture overseen by Minnesota's education that pay for kids' meals during the school year and over the summer when COVID hit. USDA issued waivers that gave sponsors like Feeding the Future more flexibility in how they distributed food. So she was asking for more money, right? Or money she was asking for. And she actually almost threatened to sue. Imagine threatened to sue. That's she got that greedy. They got greedy, man. Like they were already stealing shit. And she got more greedy to say she might even sue. She got greedy to say she might even sue. So this is actually a fresh story. It's just yesterday to a lot of people. They didn't know about this, right? I heard about something like because I watched the news. I swear I've seen this lady's face before. I swear I heard of something, but it was years ago. It went through over people's heads, kind of. But now they're bringing it back up. Think of it, right? Yeah, Leafs, Toronto, from the city. Yeah, so this is what it is. They're bringing this up because of what they're doing in Minnesota. They want to tell you that we already caught a lady years ago for doing some type of fraud involving with the Somali community. And now we're going to sentence her probably to 30 something years. You see how the government does it? They'll know about things for years. They'll watch you. They do it even in the military, like how they done with the oil tankers, the Russian oil tankers. They saw them in the water for 8 days. And then they released it to the media that they captured them. You remember that? The same thing with this lady. It was 2000 and what 21. That's not. That's in when the Ministry of Education reported her. Right, 2021. They made it to the FBI. That's when they reported her. Think of it. Right. So she used a time when it was COVID. It was a very sensitive time. No one had time to look into a lot of things when it was COVID. The world was basically scared like shit. And then she talked about the George Floyd thing. And when the George Floyd thing went, there was a lot of protesting, unrest in America. There was the Black Lives Matter thing going on. So that mixture made it easy for her to do the scamming because the government was really busy with shit. And who was in charge? I don't think it was Donald Trump who was in charge. I think it was Joe Biden was in charge of the whole shit. So that's why she got to scam 250 million. 250 million. And she's not the Somali. They put it out there. White lady, right? Scammed with a nonprofit organization about 250 million. And this story will probably, it should be out there. It should be viral. It should be current, but they might kind of quiet this down because they did quiet it down. She was arrested years ago. I think they already had the story a long time ago. Yes, guaranteed they had the story a long time ago, but it went under the rug. And now it's brought up back again because they got to show you why they're doing the shit with ICE in the streets, right? They're going to show you why they're doing this shit in the streets. And it's not just Somalis they're going after. They got look, the two people who passed away, right, are both Caucasian. They ain't fooling me. I'm going more deep. Two of the people who passed away are both Caucasian, not Somali, right? The person they're accusing of the biggest scam in Minnesota is not Somali, it's a Caucasian. I don't know if any other person in the media or content maker is going to tell you this, but I'm telling you this now. It looks kind of funny in the way of that the people who they're accusing of all the fraud, right, is the head of it is this white lady. The two people who died, right, wrong or right, in Minnesota are white. So what is the government really trying to cook up right now? We know this story's been around with this lady a long time ago, from 2020. She was doing this shit. She got the money, and 2021, all of a sudden, she was on the Ministry of Education reported her to the FBI. They reported her to the FBI, and then it took a while, and now 4 years later, you're hearing about this because what's going on in Minnesota. She's the biggest frauder out of Minnesota. So they didn't want to make you see that it was this white lady who's been doing all this shit before all these Somalis were exposed, right? Because they would start looking at more other people besides just the Somalis. Someone said it could be anywhere. You're right. It could be in New York. It could be in California. It could be in Atlanta. That's just one city, people. That's just one city they're talking about, right? Plenty of corruptions goes around. You're right. You're right. Mini star Rick. You're right. Plenty of corruption is going around. But right now they're concentrating on Minnesota. Minnesota is ground zero right now. And you got he's mixing it up. It's very dangerous because people are revolting, are protesting, people are in the streets, civil unrest. Right now, there's probably more things going to be going on. You might hear about more deaths going on. Like I said, what's gonna happen if an ICE agent gets unalived? Is that gonna go overshadow this story? Either way, she's supposed to serve 33 or 30 years. That's what they're saying. 30 years. They put some other people who they have captured in the same type of prison where she's at, about 70 something, over 70 of them, right? This is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So are people going to change how they talk now? Because People are blaming just the Somalis. People are just blaming the Somali people for all of this scamming. But now you have this lady who was helping them or helped them. How much Aimee Bocks are there? You got to ask yourself, how many Aimee Bocks are there around? I want to know. There's more. There's probably some men. There's a couple men probably. Maybe there's some even African Americans who are probably part of this scam because Minnesota is a multicultural city. So you might see some African Americans too later on. There's more people. She's probably ratting out some people. I guarantee this lady is talking. Because how she's talking when I'm reading, she's saying like she didn't do nothing wrong. It's crazy. She's talking like she didn't do nothing wrong. So Bach spoke to CBS News in the aftermath of the killing of Renee Good. She's speaking. She shouldn't speak. This is bad, right? So Bach spoke to the CBS News in the aftermath of the killing of Renee Good as Minneapolis became a flashpoint in the administration to push the crackdown on illegal immigration. Don't put us in that. What the fuck? ICE scaled up rapidly and hired untrained, unqualified for ICE officers. Yeah, because he needs a big, big, big army all over America. He's planning that. He doesn't care if they're all fully trained. Like I was talking to my father today, maybe he's hiring even the so called people who he released from prison. I swear I heard that he released over 39,000. I'm not saying they're, 39,000 people from prison, and I guess they're black, right? So they're loyal to him. Like, I just gotta say, like, if Trump is involved in making people come out of prison, they're gonna probably be loyal to him, right? So check this. Now, on illegal immigrants, according to Bach, some of the individuals picked up in the ICE sweeps, right? In the ICE sweeps are now being held at jail where she is being held until she is sentenced. So the people they picked up in with the ICE are now being held at the same place where she is, right? Maybe some Caribbeans involved. See how that sounds? Yeah, that could be that too. Yeah, everybody. Some Caribbeans, that's black. That's the same thing. Just say black, right? Besides the Somali, they're really black. They say they're not black, but they're black. So just say black, and then some African Americans because she's American. Let's not get away from that. I think there's shame right now, right? Even especially for some Americans, there's shame because they wanted to make it look like it's just these illegals, or oh, it's just illegals. So some African Americans too. Some African Americans too are probably involved in this too. That's why people are saying on social media, let's be out of this. We're out of this. It's going to come back to haunt some of them. They're saying, let's not take part of this. A lot of African Americans are FBA saying, let's stay out of this. But it might haunt them if a couple of them are in this. So far, there's a white individual who's in this. They put that out there. Nah, stop putting jackets on people. That's wrong. No, right now, right? Who thought that this lady would be? She's been around for a while. How much people knew this story? And listen, a lot of people didn't know this story. A lot of people didn't know about this lady, Aimee Bock. A lot of people never expected this story to be like, out there right now. But it is out there. It's been around. She's been, uh, you know, in jail for a while. No one wants to talk about it, but they're bringing up the Somalis. So Trump probably said, yo, you know what? Reverse psychology. We can't just talk about the Somalis frauding the system. We're going to have to show people that there was somebody involved in an investigation who's actually an American citizen, and we locked her up for the same shit that we're accusing the Somalis. That's what they're saying. We know that there has to be what you're saying, Eric CM 4404. We know that there has to be Americans involved that have been able to show them how to fill out the paperwork on establishing NGOs and apply for the grants. That's good. You're right. You said it. That's a good one, right? That's a good one. Let me read it again for Eric Eric CM. I mean Eric M4404. We know that there has to be Americans involved that have been able to show them how to fill out the paperwork on establishing the NGOs and applying for the grants. So you are right. So the government, they're on attack with Cash Patel. I had an earlier episode, and I heard and I noticed they are doing some type of blockage in regards to the Epstein shit, right? Even though Trump, right, said he released those files, a lot of things are in motion. If you don't know and you don't have an open mind, they will fool you because in that case, Bill Clinton and his wife they were called to testify, and recently they said no, they refuse to testify. And if they refuse, they could be held in what, contempt. So that's an example of a media story, which is real life. Trump is big. He's the president. He's behind the shit now, and he doesn't like Clinton or Hillary Clinton, and they are supposed to go to court, right? Now let's go back to this. This story now is this lady who they were watching for a good while, and they arrested her for fraud, 250 million fraud scheme, right? Daycare, this food nonprofit to feed the children, basically, of Minnesota in the Somali community. The same community the government is accusing of the fraud, right? They demanded public hearings, not backroom hearings that can be clipped out of content. So you're talking about that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. They don't want. They demanded public hearings, not backroom hearings that can be clipped out of context. They want public hearings. You're saying Clinton and them want public hearings. That's something else. But you see, right now, there's a whole campaign Trump is doing. He's doing a lot, right? He's doing with the Epstein files that he said he forced to put out so he could distance himself away from that because people been building a campaign against Trump that he is part of that whole Epstein, situation. But by him making Hillary and what's his Bill go there, it takes attention away from him, right? So that's just an example of a story and how I'm hearing on social media they're trying to block that, especially on TikTok. I done an episode yesterday, right? They're trying to block that shit with the TikTok. That's another story. They want public Senate hearings. Oh, so they're demanding a special type of hearings. It's like I'm saying this lady right now, Aimee Bock. It's the same thing what I'm saying with this lady. It's kind of I'm hoping this story doesn't go away because everybody just been targeting the Somali community, and there's other people like you said earlier involved in this. It had to be people who knew how to sign out the documents, who are probably American. A lot of them are American, not all of them fully, but a lot of them are American. Her name is Aimee Bock, not this lady. What? Her name is Aimee Bock, not this lady. Why I'm gonna care what to call her? I'm gonna call her this lady. She's in prison. She's locked up. I'm gonna give her some respect for frauding the people. I'm not gonna give her no respect. It's whatever. You should check out the Dan Rubin show and see the interview he does with Somali woman who outlines the Democratic strategy. I'll look that up. But yo, Catwalk, who cares to call her name a certain way? She frauded out a whole bunch of people. Aimee Bock. Yes, I know her name. Aimee Bock. A lot of people should know her name all around America. Like they've been saying just Somalis been frauding the system. Aimee Bock stole 250 million and gave some of the money, right? 3.4 million to the feed the children, right? Out of the 250, and she was using for herself some of that money. And she's getting probably 30 years. And she's trying to make people have sympathy for her. No, yes, Aimee Bock. Is she innocent of? Do you believe what she's saying? She really doesn't have a defense. She really doesn't have any defense. And I don't think people give a shit about saying her name. I don't think people give a damn about saying her name correctly because she has frauded out a whole bunch of people. So where is the rest of the money? Yes, perfect. I like what you just said there, Chandler. Where's the rest of the money? Right? 3.4 million she used on like whatever she was doing, like giving the food for the children. Where's the rest of the money? You know where the rest of the money is? 78 people or so was arrested also. That's where the rest of the money is. 78 people. 78 people, all of them most likely had some type of business. I don't know if you guys remember, because there's some dummies who will make the spotlight come on their community, even if they're trying to hide or whatever. The guy who went online, the Somali young man, and he was saying, basically, we're frauding you guys out, right? He was saying, we're frauding you. This guy's eating and saying, yo, dumb white people. And he's saying, yo, work for me, go work for me, all types of stuff. He was really making fun of the people in America, especially Minnesota. So, and this guy has tons of videos. It went viral, right? Prison for all of them. Yes. So my whole point is, it's not just Somalis, right? And in Minnesota, this is what started this whole thing. It starts small and then gets bigger and gets bigger and bigger. And that's why ICE is out. ICE is out not just to go whatever what they're doing, what they claim they're doing security. ICE is out to find out about people like this. They want to find out about people like this. They're not finished yet, right? Like they said, that woman Anla Omar or whatever, they're bringing up that maybe $30 million she has, that she's part of this whole thing, and she's denying it. That lady, right? She worked in the Minnesota government, and then even the mayor. Don't be surprised. The Waltz guy. Don't be surprised he might be part of some scheme too. The Waltz guy. This is getting bigger and bigger. Remember, it's a lot of money. Like, this is reality. This is what I'm telling you. I've done my research. There's billions of dollars what been stolen. Billions. Not just the 200 a million. Billions. So how much more people, right? And I'm not saying the whole community is guilty, but if there's just say 100 million Somalis, right? Because he heard Trump be saying he doesn't like Somal, he wants them gone, right? If there's 100,000, I said, correct me, said I thought I said 100 million. No, 100,000. I want to correct that. 100,000 Somalis in Minneapolis or Minnesota. Out of that population, just say there is 500 people doing the same shit. So, not saying all the Somali community is part of this, but just say 500 of them been doing the same shit. That amounts to billions, probably, right? If you are conflating a governor and a mayor, you didn't do your research. Listen, governor, whoever he is, Waltz, mayor, the whole city, they're guilty. I could look it up right here. I think it's the mayor, right? Either way, Trump is going after everybody. He's going after everybody who thinks that they got away with the scam. You could be Somali, you could be a white American woman or man. It doesn't matter. He's going after everybody. He wants to know who was doing the scam, right? He wants to know, he wants the money. He's going after the money, man. Remember, he's a businessman too. And I said he's like a gangster. So he's going after everything. I talked about other example with TikTok, how he muscled his way into that. And you're hearing about TikTok now, what's going on with the TikTok. So now this is something else, right? They're not after scams, just their cut. You're probably right. You're right. You're right. Either way, they got this lady. She's an example. This is not fake. This is not a fake story. They got the lady, right? They didn't make it's not made up. They have the lady. And she's gonna serve about 30 years. It's not made up. They got her. She's locked up. And the worst thing what she's bringing up, she's talking about when the lady who passed away, the first lady, Renee Good, she brought that up on an interview, right? I don't know what she thought if that's going to make it any better. But she's not coming out of no prison, man. She's going to serve the time. She is gonna is the poster girl or poster woman for the fraud in Minnesota. So this is what I'm saying. How come? Well, it's just hit yesterday, this story. How come? Let's see if this will still be talked about as an example of not just stereotyping all the scammers as Somali, right? Now they're gonna are they gonna stop? Right? So you're saying so you are making claims without evidence. No, I'm not. Inla Omar next. Yes, yeah. Inhan Omar. Inhan Omar. They're saying she has about $30 million with her. That's allegedly. Unless Trump pardons the criminals again. No. Who? Not in this case. Not in Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota he's pardoning anybody. No way. This is where he has to show an example. He's not pardoning nobody. Sorry, James Serwin. Not in this case. He's not pardoning nobody. This is the state where he's setting an example, and then he's going to go to a other state. You guys have to look how he moves. A couple months ago, he deported a whole bunch of people back to South America. You remember that? Don't forget, he was doing a whole deportation of Mexicans and other people, and there was like this big uproar. And then, guess what? I seen on social media a lot of the Hispanic community was wondering how come, right? The black people of America didn't come to their defense, didn't really come out and speak and march with them, right? That's what was going on. Don't you guys remember? Do you guys remember? Bless up Esimo. Sassimo, sorry. Yes. Don't do you guys remember that? Or you guys forget that? That he was deporting a whole bunch of people back to South America. And people was out in the outcry. He's separating babies, he's separating families. This is crazy. And didn't that disappear for a little bit? Is anybody talking about all the people that he gathered up and the family split up and all the babies and stuff like that when he was doing that, right? And then now he went to another state, Minnesota. The state before, I guarantee, was California. So he went to California. He took and other places. He took a big percentage of illegals and deported them right back to Mexico and other places to South America. They had pictures of that. People even from Venezuela, tons of them, right? That's why they're in Venezuela now. It's all connected. See, I'm giving you it down to earth, right? It's all connected. They deported tons of people back to South America because they're saying they're illegal, right? And not just because they're illegal, he accuses them of doing illegal things in America, like part of the cartel or connected with the cartel. So now it's Minnesota. He's going after the refugees. For years, I used to hear before all of this came out, right, that there's a big population of Somalis in Minnesota. I didn't know really. That was like kind of new to me, right? I didn't know. So a lot of the refugees from Somalia for a long time, right, were brought to Minnesota and Idaho. I heard. I did not really know. I was surprised. I was surprised there was that much Somalis, a big Somali community in that part of America. But now, right, what doesn't look good is this whole story or what's really going on, real life shit in Minnesota. This makes their community look really bad, right? It made Trump freeze visas for a lot of people. Basically, it's their time's up. People who've been raised in America for most of their lives, a lot of them, if you're not born American, just say you came when you're young, like I said in other episodes, they're going to deport you. They're going to deport people who came when they're 10, 5 years old. They might be all 25, maybe even 35, near 40 too, because I heard a whole bunch of them came 1990, right? On temporary protective status. So a lot of those people, their parents had kids and their kids maybe have kids too. They're going to be leaving. Trump is guessing. Right now, he's going to go to another state. The next thing you're going to hear, he's in like, he went into Chicago. People forgot that. He went to Chicago. They're still in Chicago, just quiet. The ICE is everywhere, but they're quiet. Meanwhile, this is going on. This is what I'm going to give you guys. Meanwhile, this is going on, right? In Minneapolis. The other states where he was playing with saying he's going there has agents there. They're silent for now. But soon he'll make a other move somewhere else. What's next? We're here in Chicago before, probably New York. He's trying to get the big hits. The big hits. But what I'm saying with this lady now, right? This is an example that is not, don't judge a book by its cover. Do not judge a book by its cover because Aimee Bock is a big fraudster. She's not coming out of prison. So next time when people are talking about Minnesota and the whole daycare scam and all the scams, what's been going on, you have to remember this face. Remember this face. And the MAGA, I notice the people who support Trump, they don't want to talk about this. Peter Baker, Portland, Seattle. Yeah, you're right. Maybe Portland, Seattle. Tell me about Portland, Seattle. I would like to know why you think Portland, Seattle. Why do you think that Portland, Seattle? Guaranteed, he's moving to other states too after Minnesota, right? He's going to be going for other groups also. He's starting a whole campaign. I have to give this guy Trump. He's going everywhere on all fronts. The TikTok stuff they just announced what yesterday or so, saying they want to know about everything about you. If you use that platform, millions of Americans use it. Millions of Americans make money from it. So he's trying to filter out everything. Minnesota was a test run for what's to come. You are right, Sassamo. Sanctuary cities. You are right. All the people who Joe Biden made come, come into America. Let's frig up Donald Trump. Let's screw his shit up before he comes. Just come in. So he done that on, is it spite? Yo, Joe Biden is something, man. People should look into his shit, what he was really doing, right? So he kind of opened up the door for a whole bunch of people to come in and make people do scams when he was doing his shit. What, what does this makes Trump look good? Sorry to say, because he was accusing probably the Biden administration of stealing. He was accusing, and look, he had to show this card. He couldn't just show the Somalis are doing the fraud. He could not just show that. He couldn't just show that it's the Somalis doing the fraud, right? You have changed. No, I'm talking about this lady. I don't know which tune I'm changing. Listen, I'm not biased with Trump. Some stuff Trump does is not good, and some stuff he does is good because I don't support illegals. So you lose in that game. I don't support illegal immigration. So they lose in that game. So if you are illegal and you're involved in all of this shit, you deserve what's coming to you 100%. Right? You deserve what's coming to you if you're illegal. People want to make excuses for these people who are illegal in the country, but there's people who have to work hard and pay their way to be in America or in any other country. He wasn't even doing it. Pelosi and Schumer were. Mm. Listen, you got to come into America like any other country, like Canada, like England, legally, or you don't have no rights. If you're illegal, you have no rights, right? So what's making people quiet is, look, this lady, for voters, I'm an immigrant from Aruba Island since 1990, came here legally. So what do you think about this? This is a legal person. I noticed the people who are immigrants, like, thank you, JE, 90s crew, you are legal. I don't think people understand the difference from a legal immigrant and an illegal person. They're throwing everyone in a box. You come to the country legally, right? That's what helps build America, makes up America. An illegal person is illegal. That means that they have a visa, they overstayed their time, and they haven't went back to where they're from, or they snook over some way they got into America and they're working or living for years, and that's why the ICE is out there to find those type of people. Had to take citizenship testing, extra paperwork. How much did that cost? Let the people know, because illegals are not doing any of those things. They're not documented. So I think a lot of people don't know. So this lady, not saying all the people who she was frauding with weren't American citizens. A lot of them were American citizens, but a mixture with people who are illegal. A lot of them are Somali born, American born, Somali background, who was probably involved in this. Like her, she's American, right? Wealthy people still have undocumented immigrants working for them. We hear about that in California. They always show you the Mexicans working as, for rich people doing the yard work, right? That's BS, host. We are more than happy for JE to be here. I never said he ain't happy for him to be here. I said he's come legally. So that's good. You're happy for somebody legally in the country. I agree. He didn't say anything wrong, JE. I agree. I'm talking about the people who are illegal, who they I don't agree. They should be deported. Those people should be deported if you're illegal. I've seen that before. The system is broken because it should be easier to come here now that things are digital. That's what they're trying to do, Sassimo. He wants to do the filtration. I'm guessing. I'm just saying, in his defense, get rid of a lot of the people who are not registered legally as an immigrant. Do a mass deportation so they could control with a type of digital ID. They tried that in UK and the people protested, like what's going on in Minnesota. The people protested and they listened to the people in UK, and they only offer it if you want to do it voluntarily, right? They were trying to force the digital ID down there. They have a lot of immigrants in the UK also, but they fought against it, right? You said we don't know the difference between the two. That's BS. No, some people don't know the difference. I'm telling you. There's people who don't know the difference. There is. There's a lot of people who don't know the difference. I've seen it. They put everybody in the box. You might know the difference, ballistic, sky bandito, but some people don't know the difference. But why interfere with people who are going to courts and doing it the right way? Why should they self deport and start over again? So let me read that again. But why interfere with people who are going to courts and doing it the right way? You're right. Because if you're paying your way, how do you feel if there's people who are coming here, they're not doing the same shit, right? It's like you're getting a free ride and this other person has to do all this shit. I know. I heard of these stories already. They make it hard for certain other people to come to any country when it's illegals coming in, right? So this lady, back to this lady, right? Aimee Bock, if you're a patriot, is not the face of a thief, right? And a scammer is not the Somali. It is someone who could be what you call a real American, right? They shouldn't self deport. That's what he's saying. They shouldn't self-deport. He's saying that they shouldn't just have to. Well, he's kind of forcing people. Like you see with that visa, when he froze the visa shit, that is forcing a lot of people to either leave themselves before ICE comes to them, or ICE will find them because they know about all the visas. But this lady, nothing compares to the $200 million she stole. Ballistic, what do you think of this? Ballistic Banditos, what do you think of this lady, Aimee Bock, who stole 200 or hustled $250 million for a food program to feed hungry children? Right? Yes, yes, you're speaking. But I'm asking you, what do you think? I want to know your opinion. It's interesting because you have some good comments where you come in with, even if people don't agree. What do you think about this lady? Do you agree? I mean, yeah, I want to know your opinions, people, because I think people are scared to talk about this because it's not a Somali, it's not the stereotypical what it's called illegal immigrant. This is American woman who's worked for a nonprofit organization. People trusted her. She even tried to fool the Department of Education for money, and then the FBI. I mean, they tipped off the FBI and they arrested her. Right? They, I want to know. People are scared. There's only some people saying something about her. You see, this is to show you the algorithm, how the world is. This is to show you how the world is. Because it's a white lady, right? It's like, shit, it's going over people's heads. This lady was doing shit from the COVID times. She actually used the COVID times, right? And that Black Lives Matter time to take advantage of stuff. I could bring that back. She was using that time. So, in exclusive interview from her jail cell, Bach defended her conduct, admitting regrets and argued that the state officials who she worked with should bear some of the blame. You hear that? In an exclusive interview from her jail, Bach defended her conduct, admitting regrets. Oh, I regret this shit. That's what she's saying. And argued that the state officials she worked with should bear some of the blame. So they should go to jail too, probably, too. It was the first time Bach spoke publicly since she was arrested for her role in what prosecutors say was 250 million COVID era effort to defraud the federal program to feed hungry children. Right? I wish I could go back to do things differently. Stop things, catch things, said Bach, who was the head of the Feeding Our Future, the now infamous nonprofit that signed up restaurants in Minnesota and caterers to receive taxpayers' money. That must hurt. Taxpayers' money for providing meals to kids. I believe we were doing everything in the power to protect the program. But you weren't protecting American citizens. You weren't protecting America. How was she thinking about American citizens? This is how some people are. They're clueless. I'm not. She needs to go to jail for a long time. See, Jimmy Richards, he's saying yes. Now think of it. Listen what she says though. Like this is kind of disturbing how she thinks. Like I don't know if you guys are listening to this, but how she's saying this, like just the taxpayers' money. That's your money, people. That's your money. She played with a lot of money, and more people played with money. So she is saying, let me read this. This should make you mad as a especially American who has to pay whatever taxes. I wish I could go back and do things differently. Stop things, catch things, said Bach, who was the head of the Feeding Our Future. Now the infamous nonprofit that signed up for restaurants, that means the Somali restaurants, a lot of them, she was whatever giving them, and caterers to receive taxpayers' money for providing meals to kids. And they'll only use 3.4 million out of the 200 and whatever million they're accusing her of. I believe we were doing everything in our power to protect the program. So far, Prosecutors have charged 78 defendants connected to feeding our future. 78 with her, right? With more than 60 pleading guilty. So most are pleading guilty. Most 60 people are pleading guilty and are Somali American except for Aimee Bock, right? So she practices, yeah, I'm back, yeah, yep, yep, it's then, yep, whatever. She's facing it. This is what they're writing. This is American style writing. All are Somali American except for Aimee Bock. During the 5-week trial last year, prosecutors allege Bock signed off reimbursement claims for millions. Look at that shit. For millions. Meals that were never served. It's like the daycare scam. It's kind of like the daycare scam. They have daycares, but no children at the daycares. So she's getting money for meals and there's no meals. I agree. She needs to go to jail together with her bosses, Tim Waltz and Mayor Fry. Okay, good. I didn't even know the mayor. I was following Tim Waltz and Mayor Fry. So Tim Waltz is the governor, which Trump wants to cook up, and Mayor Fry, you might get fried, right? So you agree she should go to prison, right? So you agree she should go to prison. Okay. Much respect. People are agreeing. I agree. She should go to prison. You don't think that she's really innocent because how she looks. Yes, I agree. Stealing tens of millions of federal dollars, spending it on luxury cars, real estate, ventures, and vacations. You think the FBI don't know about this stuff? So they're spending stuff on luxury cars. A lot of them are driving around. These 78 people were all driving around with some big luxury cars from the government money, which is taxpayers' money. Well, it's taxpayers' money they're using and driving around like they're rich. Imagine that, right? Real estate ventures. They were buying property with this money, real estate ventures and vacations. They're using this money to go on vacations. They're all going to serve some time. 78 of them. And that's just a tip of the iceberg because there's more people. Remember, they're saying billions was stolen, right? But this lady, Aimee Bock, this story just resurfaced yesterday. It's just really maybe going viral. I don't know if how much people are really going to be talking about this. Maybe it's going viral. No, that was your assertion, host. We condone her behavior because she's white. No, a lot do. There's some people. Let's be realistically. Let's be realistic. There's some people, even if you might think it's crazy, there's some people thinking that they don't want to hear this shit, right? So if billionaires made over 18 trillion for themselves, where's America's cut? You're right. No one's see that goes back to our other story, right? The billionaires ain't getting exposed. So if the billionaires made over 18 trillion for themselves, where's the Americans cut? There's no cut. There's no cut. There's no cut for them. They're protected, right? Wrong is wrong. It's not about race. Yes, wrong is wrong. I'm just saying they've been promoting the Somalis. See, this is how I'm getting some of you. But tell me if not, they've been promoting the Somali them and making the Somali community get villainized. A lot of people on social media been villainizing the Somalis as scammers and doing all types of stories constantly about the Somalis scam. But where I'm trying to say is don't just look on their community. There's white, I'm going to say it because it's straight up, and there's probably some black ones too, African American ones who was a part of this whole operation. I heard earlier in the comments that it had to take people who knew about to sign these documents in America to get these things through. So it's not just what I'm trying to say because they're targeting just a community. And let's be straight, that's how it started with the Somali community. And now they're bringing this up. And you got to look on it. Even the people who passed away in Minnesota, it's a white lady and a white man just the other day. So it is, no one, don't feel guilty. This is straight up. This is what it is. This is what's making feelings brew up. This is what's making people talk. But Trump had to make it this as an example. They knew about this case a long time ago. They knew about this case a long time ago. So now you have to ask yourself, why are they promoting this now? Why are they telling you this now? Why are they telling you all of a sudden about this story and they knew about it a long time ago from COVID times? It's 2026. This is why I tell you, this is how the government does it. They'll know about something for years and just keep it, or days and keep it, and then they're going to release it to you. Then they're going to tell you afterwards. This is what I'm saying. This is what they're giving you right now, saying that this lady, it came out. A lot of people don't know about the story. When it came out, it just came and it went, right? Oh, this lady, she defrauded, blah, blah, blah. How much you guys remember this story? I guarantee most of you maybe have a glimpse of the story. How much of you people remember this story? Aimee Bock stealing 230 million. And this was what? The year 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. It's about 2006, over 4 or 5 years. I wonder why this is all coming out now. Maybe they were investigating other people. Yes, that's why they shut down Minnesota. That's why they got a whole bunch of people saying that they've been scamming the American government. When Donald Trump was talking about the scams, he didn't bring up, I don't think he brought up this lady. He didn't bring her up, but she is the one who stole the most money. Did he bring her up? No, I heard him talking about something else. He was talking about the Somalis, but he probably, unless he doesn't know, he tell me he didn't know about this. 2001 to 2006, retired. I never, what, did I say 2001, 2006? No, I said 2000, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, 2021, 2021, right? To 2026 now, right? It's all the same shit. Either way, she's caught. So 2021 is when the school board reported her to the FBI. 2021 is when they basically reported her. They said it that they reported her to the FBI 2021. So how long has she been locked up in jail for? I don't really know. I have to look it up. But the point is, it's being brought up now, right? The point is, it's being brought up now. So from 2021, around the COVID times, right? This is when the shit was going on. No one was paying attention to this. That's why. When COVID hit, no one was paying attention to this story when COVID hit. Everybody around the world was scared about this COVID shit. This was probably a story that came and went, and then they just put it aside, and no one was really paying attention to it. But now it's getting digged up, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I made a mistake. That's a long time ago. No one. That's a long time ago when it said 2001, 2006. No, 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 no. This lady should be the poster person for the fraud. That's why I got her face up on here. This is the poster person for doing the fraud. Where's the Somalis? There's a woman, right? What is it? Inla Omar. What, I don't know how to pronounce her name. There's a lady, Somali lady, they accused and of doing part of this whole shit. She's not arrested. Not yet. I'm not saying they might not arrest her. The one who married her brother, she's not arrested. Not saying they won't arrest her, but she's not arrested yet. The only ones I'm seeing arrested, right, publicly, is this lady right now, who's famous for doing fraud. Lady Low, she ain't no lady. Saying she ain't no lady. Yo, she claims she wants people to feel sorry for her. She wants people to say that she was trying to help do all this shit. She was trying to help. This is the headlines. National news. This was released, just say national news. Aimee Bock, mastermind of Minnesota's biggest fraud scheme, says, I wish I could go back and do things differently. This was January 24th. January 24th. That's when she said it, right? January 24th. Minneapolis, the Trump administration has justified its ongoing immigration crackdown in Minnesota by citing the need to curb fraud and pointing to a widening scandal involving members of the Somali American community. Yet prosecutors say the mastermind of the state's biggest fraud scheme to date was not Somali, but a white 45-year-old Aimee Bock. So they want you to know. Trump really wants you to know. He's saying that, yo, even though we target the Somali community, we want you to know that it's not just the Somali community, to make it look fair, that he's not just targeting them, he's going after everybody. There's always a fall guy in the pyramid scheme. You're right. You're right, Sassy. Yep. I highly doubt she was the mastermind. You know what? We could say that too. Like, they're saying she's the mastermind. There's probably other people. So who else is there? You're right. I have to give you that. They're calling her the mastermind, right? They're saying Aimee Bock, mastermind of Minnesota's biggest fraud scheme, says, I wish I could go back and do things differently. So if just say there's more people, she's not the real mastermind. Who's the mastermind then? Right? That doesn't make her get off anyways. She still should be going to prison no matter what. So who is the mastermind? Is it going to be the mayor or the governor? Are they going to try to include other government sources? Are they trying to say is that that Muslim lady Inla Omar, if I'm pronouncing her name right, right? Is it her? Who is it? Who's the mastermind? Because they're putting her as the mastermind right now. They're saying she's the one, right? And how she's talking is not even helping, even if she's not the mastermind. How she's talking is not helping her. Like, most lawyers would tell her to shut up, right? So it says in an exclusive interview, because she done an interview, it's not helping, from her jail cell. And I heard the interview. You guys could check this out, right? Bock defended her conduct, admitting agents argued that the state officials who she worked with should bear some of the blame. Right? Omar is the second biggest. So she's second biggest. That's what you're saying, ballistic striker. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is gonna keep growing. This is gonna get deep because if they're just telling us this now, what else is there? If they're telling us this what happened years ago, and just bringing this up now, what else is there? Like someone said, she's not the mastermind. They're saying it's somebody else. So that's what else is there. Somebody else is the one who's been masterminding this whole plot to steal money from the government. And how long have they been doing this? Right? How long have they been stealing money from the government? That's the question we got to ask. How long have they been doing this? People are going to talk about this lady, but it's interesting. More stories are going to come up. We're going to hear about more stories coming up regarding this lady, right? Um, she's trying to play victim right now. And I think she's scared right now. And I'm surprised they're making her talk. I don't know. I'm surprised she's really talking now. Maybe she made a deal. Maybe she has done a deal to cut down her time. Will she serve 30 years or will it be 10 years? Yeah, 2021. That's when what's called the school board ratted on her. That's when the board reported her to the FBI, 2021. But she was getting the money from about 2020 when COVID happened, right? She's been working in daycares and having a career way before all of this. They're saying she was doing things with daycares from 2016, right? If not before. So are they going to look at her like before all of this? She was probably doing scams before. And she was scamming 2020, right? Because of COVID. Maybe she was scamming way before that, right? She's been doing daycare business for a long time with children and shit like that. This is like, for example, when they find out like some of these people are pedophiles later on in life who are teachers and shit like that in certain positions. She's supposed to talk about this. What was it? Sassy, have you been to the site? Can you see it? It's not just brown people. Have a look, maybe. That's interesting. That's interesting. Get the prosecution deal. So I'm going to check out that site. What's the site's name? That's what I want to know. What is the site's name you're talking about? Tell us about the site. Get the prosecution deal. Waltz, Omar, and other high government officials. Yes. So we're including what? The governor, saying the governor, this Rep Omar, and other high government officials. Are we going to hear about this? Are they going to expose it? Like, for example, the Epstein files, they've been talking for a lot of important people involved in the Epstein files, but no one's coming out and talking about it. That's covered up. Are they going to try to cover up this one too? I just looked up Aimee Bock's husband. It showed her former boyfriend charged with tax crimes. Look at the picture. Whoo! Let's see. Thank you for that, Peter Truscotty. I'm gonna look that up. That's interesting. This shows you more. She's been doing this for a good while. She's been doing this for a while. This is not new. So, yo, this is just American fraud. This is American fraud, man. Okay. Aimee Bock, ex husband. So, yo, like I'm saying, this is going deeper. Wash and receive the rinse. Let's see. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. This don't look good. No, 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 no. This doesn't look good. Aimee Bock's former boyfriend looks like a black American guy too. Whew. Mm-mm. This is gonna get more deep. I didn't even know this shit. Oh, that's her picture for real too. Former boyfriend of feeding your the futures. Oh God, let me read this. The former boyfriend of feeding our futures founder Aimee Bock was charged with tax crimes early this month, according to the news released from Minnesota Department of Revenue. Whew. Empress Malcolm Watson Jr. faces 2 counts of filing a false or fraudulent tax return, on 1 count of failing to file individual income tax returns, and 3 counts of failing to pay income tax. The department says that the investigators started looking into Watson's tax history after receiving tips relating to a separate criminal investigation. This is her boyfriend, too. Shit. It shows the luxury cars. This guy's living like a rapper. This guy's living like a rapper. He's living like a rapper. That's why this is not good. This is stupid, yo. State officials say Watson significantly underreported his taxable income by hundreds of thousands of dollars and even failed to file a return to pay income tax. Dumb. This is what got her. A dumb boyfriend, too. It's not like they're organized, yo. 2022, he owes 64,000 in income tax, and that was her boyfriend. You see the picture with her and him. Shit. Damn. That's stupid. That's why they got her even more. They show a picture of her, yo. That's her. That's crazy shit. Aimee Bock with the boyfriend. I don't know if you guys could see this shit. It's kind of bright. Let me see something. You can't see it. But yo, this woman is going to. She needs to serve the fucking time in prison, yo. She needs to serve. She's guilty, yo. Aimee Bock's former boyfriend charged with tax crimes. He's probably ratting her out. He's probably the guy ratting. He's probably the guy ratting. Still low on the. Okay. He's low, but he's the one who rat her out. It's like a domino effect. Hurry, Democrats, put somebody on the books in prison. Listen, it's a domino effect. This guy stealing hundreds, whatever, not doing his tax reports and having all this money, luxury vehicles. This is what the FBI or whatever investigators are talking about, right? A spit in the face to the government. This lady, nobody out here is claiming these people are smart. Yeah, you're right. But they have some people who are holding positions. They're holding certain type of positions. This is crazy. This guy is standing in a luxury car. He's at the door. He's standing up on a luxury car. The guy has a big chain and shit. He has his friend in his, like these guys are some fucking rappers or some famous motherfuckers. Yo, sorry to curse, but yo, this is like a movie, yo. This is what got her in shit because they're looking at him at 2022. In the picture, she's hugging him. In the picture, she's hugging him. Yeah, I know they're real quiet now. Yeah, nobody out here. Yeah, in the picture, she's hugging him. So, like I said, it's not just Somalis part of this scam. It's people who are all types of different Americans who are part of the scam. The bad thing, the people who are getting the brunt of it are the Somali community. They're getting most of the attention, and they're getting so much that they're getting deported. Right? Well, look at in Inland Omar, not the sharpest tool in the shed. Net worth goes from 100,000 to 30 million. You're right. Plus in a year. And you think the fees won't look? Ha ha. So if that's fact, she's next. Right? If that's fact, she's next. A lot of sacrifice pawns. Yes, she's next. Guaranteed that lady's next. Yo, it don't look good. They're coming down on everybody. Yo, Donald Trump and the government, they want every piece of crumb. Watson is also accused of spending over $680,000 on travel, jewelry, vehicles by making cash withdrawals and transferring money to other accounts. What a fucking dummy. This is the guy who helped get her in trouble. This is the guy who helped get her locked up. Holy. It wasn't right. Now they deserve every damn thing, but just to say they're not smart about it. You're right. They're not smart about it. All politicians' salaries go up for some reason or another. They're not even smart about it. That's the thing about it. They're making it look like they're so smart. She even tried to threaten the government with some type of suit if they didn't give her the money, right? This lady who you're seeing here, Aimee Bock, was trying to threaten the government if they didn't give her some type of money, and her boyfriend is out here like a rapper, right? Out here like he's some type of rapper. It's crazy, yo. Transferring money, buying chains, luxury cars. That's what the FBI was watching. They're watching that guy. They're watching that guy. Guaranteed. They're watching him. When she had all the money, he was with her. Sad. Americans tax money. Americans tax money was being used for luxury cars, vacations, jewelry. That's what they're talking jewelry. This lady, yo. This lady. There's her again. This lady. Her boyfriend was living like a rock star or like a rapper or some shit like that. That's another story what's going to come up. This is where it all falls down from her being working in the daycare. She don't look too good. When I'm seeing this picture with her and the boyfriend, she looked different. She kind of looked different. You could say prison hasn't been good for her. She probably been getting beat up and a whole bunch of shit. Prison really hasn't been good for her. In the picture with her and her boyfriend, she looked almost completely different. Makeup could change some things, but this is show you something, right? Political action committees paying politicians for favors is rampant. Yes, yes. and I bet they talked on shit online. This guy, look, I'm seeing pictures of them like this guy enjoying himself, all types of shit, tax crimes. So he's going to jail for a good while too. He's going to prison for a good while. That's another story. So her boyfriend is guilty of fraud, and now she is guilty of fraud. I told you it was someone who was jealous. You're right. You did say that, Peter Triscotti. Someone was jealous. It's true. It's true. Is welcome to the club envelope. It's true. Somebody was jealous, and it was her boyfriend trying to be like he wanted to be a rapper, scamming the life. Yeah, and now you're gonna suffer now, Aimee Bock. All that luxury cars, living it up, and she thought the camouflage would be the Somali community. That's what I think. I don't think she thought. This is what I'm getting to. That the law enforcement would come to her like this. That's why she's talking a certain type of way. It's a shame they will still cost it'll still cost taxpayers money. You're right. Lobbyists paying for political favors too. It's a whole mixture of stuff. It's a big mixture of a lot of things. Yeah, she will never pay it back. She's locked up. They're locking her up probably for 30 years. How many of these scammers are coming out of prison? That's a good question, but how many of the scammers we don't know about? That's what I was asking. How many of the scammers we don't know about that's in Minnesota and other states like this? Because if this lady is doing it, how much other people are doing it? So the distraction, I think, right, because of shame, is to concentrate on these illegal immigrants with the ice in the streets, right, to take it away. Because just say there's like 20 more of Aimee Box. Are they gonna target just white people, or just say there's 10 people they discovered like Aimee Bock's boyfriend? Are they gonna start to go after African Americans too for this whole scam? Like we don't, I haven't seen that yet. So far, they're showing you an example. They're saying she's the biggest one out of Minnesota. I haven't seen an African American so far, or anybody else that's involved. I'm just saying, just her boyfriend right now, right? So her boyfriend was doing scams and tax scamming, right? Yeah, a rotten onion. Cable within. Yeah, yep. Boyfriend doing scams. Thanks for that. Who gave that information? So this is still fresh to a lot of people. It's still kind of new to a lot of people, right? This guy was living like a rapper. I know if people are gonna make content on this, man. Seeing this guy, like he's like living the life. She's behind him, hugging him. Like you thought this would last forever. So let me read this again. I want to know his name again. The former boyfriend of Feeding Our Futures founder Aimee Bock was charged with tax crimes earlier this month. So they just came down on him earlier this month after all those years. So they're really coming, right? Now the FBI is active. Patel is really active. He's putting in work. Patel is really active. He's putting in work with all the FBI, right? So it says now, this is his name. I don't know why he has his name as Empress Malcolm Watson Jr. Empress is like a late girl's name, sorry. But Empress Malcolm Watson Jr. faces 2 counts of filing false, fraudulent tax returns, 1 count of failing to file individual income tax returns, and 3 counts of failing to pay income tax. And you have all that expensive shit around you. You're going around town like you're some famous celebrity and you're not paying nothing, right? Hmm. So she's diverse diversion. They're gonna go after Jamaica. Yeah, they're already doing that. They're already doing that, man. Long time. That's old news. They're gonna go after Jamaican, Canadian, Americans next. That's old. You see the difference with the Jamaican ones and Canadians. What are they gonna do if unless they're doing fraud down there? If they're doing fraud, they deserve to get the same fate as this lady. If they're Jamaican, they deserve to get the same fate as this lady too. So that ain't nothing but I've been hearing years and years, probably from I was in height, like almost 30 years ago, of people doing scams, not just America, in Canada, and they have deported a lot of them. They've been getting deported years ago. So unless they're in Minnesota doing this scam, or wherever else they're doing this scam, I don't know. Canadian, if you're Canadian, why you need to do? If you're doing this scam, you're a damn fool to be down there. You deserve to go to jail too, prison, right? Anybody, it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're Canadian, if you're from Africa, we've been hearing the stereotype of Africans doing scams for years, haven't you? You remember that? You've been hearing the stereotypes of Africans, Nigerians doing scams for years, a long time. So there's a lot of people doing scams. But right now, because you don't see it, this lady is emotional. White lady, they even put it out there, themselves, the media. A white lady was in charge of the Minnesota, one of the biggest scams in Minnesota. And right now, what's going on in Minnesota for the last couple of weeks, they've been accusing mainly the Somali community, painting it like it's only them doing the scams. That's 100%. They've been saying that. The media have been saying that. They've been perpetrating that it's Somalis doing the scams. You heard Trump saying that 100%. I'm not making up nothing. That's what they've been saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. They've been saying it. They didn't came from me. This didn't come from me. The same president of the United States, where you are, if you're from America, right? He's been saying that. Yeah, he's been saying a lot of people in that community been scamming. This investigation with this lady, they have uncovered scamming and related in relations to the Somali community, helping them feed the children. That's what they claim. Aimee Bock, not white, is lady. She's white. I'm gonna say white. I'm not just gonna say the name. They say it for black too. What you think I'm gonna? There's she's special. You come back catwalk with that? You think she's special? They put it out there in the thing themselves, in the media. They put the white too when they're describing her. They put white. Who you think done that? It's probably even Donald Trump. He wants them to say that. They're the ones who put white. When they're ready, they'll say black, if not worse. Right? We gotta say, I'm gonna spotlight it because they've been saying Somali, all types of stuff. Pirates. They've been calling them pirates. They've been calling the works all types of names. So just because you're white, you're not special. You get no privilege. Not to me. Just because you're white, I don't have to say her name. She's in prison. She has no rights, actually. In prison, she's a number. They're not even calling her Aimee Bock in prison. In prison, she's a number. Let me tell you, she's a damn number in the prison. She stole 250 million. Who cares what her name is? Who gives a frig what her name is? Right? Do you care, ballistic, to call her by her name? No. I guarantee if it was a Somali lady or somebody else, you don't care about her name. You're going to say all types of stuff. And I will test people in the future. I guarantee if it's somebody else, especially if it's a black person, and they have done a crime like this, you don't give a shit about what her name is. And she's where she belongs. There are plenty of others who have stolen more. Yes, yes, you are right. And they said there's plenty of the Somalis in Minnesota who have stolen a lot. Yes, 250 million. Oh, that's a little bit of money. 250. That's a little bit of money, right? We shouldn't talk about that. Knowing her name as you report. I don't have to say her name. It's better not to say her name all the time. I know that with the algorithm. People know who she is. She's gone viral already. You don't have to say someone's name all the time, especially in her case. She doesn't even deserve to be represented properly because she's been stealing money from the government, right? Funny how the picture looks like a Florida vacation, but you're from Minnesota. People, Catwalk is angry that we're not saying her name all the time. We're saying white lady. If it was a black guy doing a crime, they're gonna say it's the black guy. You're not gonna give a shit to say it was Malcolm or Jamal or that. I know that from experience. You're not gonna say give a shit what his name was. You're gonna say, oh, it's that black guy or that thug or that guy, that criminal or some shit like that. So don't tell me about knowing her name. I know who her name is. Aimee Bock. Aimee Bock. Let me say it again. Aimee Bock, right? The white lady. Yes, the white lady, Aimee Bock. Same thing how you'd say her boyfriend, the black guy, right? Or if you're gonna call, you might say it's the Indian, the brown people. They say that it's just a name. People know that it wasn't the low level Somalis, and not all the Somalis are involved. You're right. It's not all the Somalis involved. Like I said, there's 100,000. I said earlier, there's about almost 100,000 in the community in Minnesota, and maybe it's only like 500 of them. 500, maybe even 200. It could even be 150 who's been involved in all these scams in Minnesota, but they want to paint the whole community like it's them. So now let's do a comparison now. It's a white lady who was involved, and I said a white lady, Aimee Bock, right? Aimee Bock, a Caucasian lady. That could be better. Aimee Bock, the Caucasian lady, she was involved in this scam, right? So how much others like Aimee Bock was involved? And someone told me her boyfriend was a scammer for taxes. He's a black guy, right? Bye bye, right? He's a black guy. I think you must be a Caucasian. You must be white and white guilt because. And I read what you said, idiot attack. Are you Jamaican? Like, what are you? Like, you're trying to speak like you're Jamaican. Are you Jamaican? Are you an idiot yourself? Right? You must be the idiot, Catwalk. I don't understand why the race matters. It does matter. See, only why did it matter that why did people bring up Somali? Why did it matter when it was the Somalis? Because people were bringing up race a lot. People were bringing up race a lot. So don't tell me that now because it's a white lady, it's a problem. But when they were talking about the Somalis forever, the Africans, and there's plenty of video out there, why are they bringing that up? Why aren't they just saying they're Americans? They're saying they're illegals. That's hypocritical. That's hypocritical. The media always does that. So this one, Catwalk, has a problem me calling the lady white. But forever, you guys are saying black, 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 black. You even have movements called Black Lives Matter. You have movements called Black Lives Matter, right? You have Donald Trump talking about he doesn't like the Somalis in America. He doesn't like them. So what are you saying? Is it one way? It just goes one way? Like, for example, Catwalk? You know what? You said bye because you can't handle the pressure. The reality is real, what I'm saying, right? So if it's somebody else, no one cares. But once it's not about race, it's about everybody. But I'm just pointing the shit out because everybody's gonna talk about it. The media put it out like that white lady. It's the media. They're the ones before me. They're the ones who described her. That it's not a Somali American, it's a white lady. I could read it back, and that's what it says. They wanted people to know that it's not a Somali American that done the biggest scam in Minnesota. Let me say it again if you don't understand, especially Catwalk. They are the ones, the people who reported this first, and the government probably wants you to know it's not just a Somali situation, that it is everyone's situation. And that's why you see this picture of this lady years afterwards, almost 4 years or so. You see this lady, and you never thought that there was somebody like this involved in the scam. I bet you. You never thought that was going to happen, right? And same thing, you never thought that ICE would attack, right? People who look like this in the streets and kill them. It's the same way. A lot of people are very shocked and in an uproar because of two lives that was lost, which they should. People should talk about it. But yo, this been going on to black people forever in America. A lot of black people have been shot by law enforcement, right? There's been protests out there, but that's the usual. But now, when something like this happens, right? A person who's not stereotypically, um, you know, the scammer, because they were saying it was the Somalis who are just the scammer. It's them who brought up cult names. They're the government and other people is the ones who are bringing up race. They're the ones bringing it up. So you want to hide from all of this, it seems. You want to hide that it's other people involved in this whole scam shit, right? What about it? You want to hide that there's other people involved in the whole scam shit. He scammed plenty of people across the country, especially in Florida. Are you talking about Trump? Donald Trump? All I know, this story is bigger than just Somalis. That's my whole point of this. It's not just the Somali population that was doing the fraud, right? He scammed plenty of people across the country, especially in Florida. You're too focused on people's race and not their actions. Yes, I'm focused on their actions. Of course, I've been talking about the actions. I read all about the actions, right? All about the actions. Tell me, why are they so focused on the Somalian community? Give me that answer. Why are they so focused? This is the thing. Why are they so focused on the Somalian community? That's a culture. Race, I'm talking about this scam. So what they're okay, they're accusing a community of doing a scam. One community. It has made separation in America right now. I've heard from black people themselves mouths that they're not going to be involved in this whole thing. They want to be out of this whole shit. I'm talking about the FBA, African Americans, right? You would think that you would see all these civil rights groups trying to help the Somalis. Why ain't the black American civil rights groups coming out to help the Somalis? Why? So you people could try to look over race thing, but America's all about race. It's always been about race down there. Well, they claim is an undisclosed place. The stats don't lie. Okay. Yes. So it's always been about this race shit. So don't act like it doesn't matter, because I seen the most hate online towards Somalis, right? Oh, it's not their fight. So he's saying that it's not their fight, right? It's the same thing like when the Mexicans and the South Americans were getting deported by Trump, and people were saying it's not their fight, but the Spanish or the Hispanics from California was complaining why the African Americans are not showing support, why the civil rights groups ain't showing any support. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't that going on? I watched the news too. It could be real or fake, but they're saying the Hispanics were complaining that the African Americans wasn't helping, and I heard the African Americans, some of them say it's not their fight, so we're staying out of the shit because when we have our issues, no one's coming to help them. They do have an argument right there, but this is different because Somalis are, I think they're black, they're African. But the problem, and I've done an episode earlier, the problem is a lot of them are saying they claim they're not black. I don't know if you don't know that. A lot of Somalis I've known, they say they're Muslim, they say they're not black, and African Americans or Americans look on that you're not really patriotic, that you're not patriotic, you're not really American enough. especially the FBA movement, what's been growing in America, they look down at people who are not generational Black Americans. They call them tethers. If you don't know, they call them tethers. So when we're talking about, when I'm talking about race, I'm living in the reality is what I see, and that's what's going on. And this story is just exposing that it's not just Somalis who've been robbing the government in Minnesota. It's somebody who looks like this, white, right? Aimee Bock, a Caucasian lady, like they would say, as a suspect, a Caucasian lady, right? The suspect, like they would say, a black individual, the suspect. She's one. Blacks showed their support on November 5th, 2024. Which support did they show? Was it for the Hispanics? Was it the Hispanics? Some spoke out. Some was probably supporting the brown movement, but there was a couple Mexicans or people from South America. They were saying they don't believe they've been getting a lot of support, not enough. They weren't getting enough support. So yeah, am I speaking shit or what? Because I swear there was a couple groups claiming that they should get more support from the African American community. I'm just saying it is race thing. This is gonna be viral, obviously. This story just resurfaced yesterday. Now I just told you about her boyfriend is a fraudster. They're linking her for giving money for an organization to help the Somali community with catering, restaurants, but they used it in real estate. They used it on vacations. They used the works, jewelry. She's trying to make it look like she didn't do anything wrong. She's trying to blame other people, but they're gonna put her ass in jail for a long time, threatening 30 years, right? So I guaranteed, and it's going to come, if it was somebody else and it wasn't this lady, if it was a Somali, if it was African American, if it was a Mexican, they would say deport them, deport them. If it was a Somali lady, deport. If it was someone from Mexico, deport. How could you have these people doing? That's what they're doing with all the Somalis, and that's why the ICE is out. But now the ice is affecting normal Americans. This is what's going on. This is a mixture. This is a whole mixture, right? What happened in Minnesota, two individuals who died, the elephants in the room, they're not the usual what you see who die from law enforcement on the media. What's promoted is black individuals. It's not no Caucasians you see, right? That could happen, but that's not what you've been seeing for years. You've been seeing Trayvon Martin. You've been seeing a whole bunch, a whole list, right? You've been seeing a whole list of that. And really, a lot of them didn't get justice in those cases. A lot of them did not get justice. They they voted for this not to happen to anyone. They voted. You're saying they voted for this not to happen to anybody. Right now, I'm waiting to see how much this story gets more attention. I'm waiting to see throughout the week if they're gonna dig into this story and promote it more, because this is an example that it's not just one group they're trying to bully, that it's everybody. That's what it seems like to me. And the next person might be that the mayor or the governor. I mean the governor Waltz, right? That's the next one. The Fry guy might feel the brunt, but maybe that's who they're working up to. This lady, they had her for a couple of years, or they had her for a while, right? So now they're gonna probably after her work up to the politicians now. I heard Trump says he wants to lock Waltz should be locked up. So they're digging and they're digging and they're digging and they're hoping people rat so they could try to get time off. Will she rat? Will she talk? Right? Let's see if she's gonna rat and talk to get time off. So we don't have to say her race or anything like that. We could just say what she's charged with as a crime, right? But guess what? People are going to bring up the race because guess her boyfriend is? Her boyfriend's a black guy. Her boyfriend's an African American. He looks like he's an African American to me. Stereotypically, he's not Somali. She already ratted where you've been. See, she ratted. I've been just looking up stuff. So she ratted, yes. So there's 78 people locked up. I said there's 78 people locked up who came to the same prison where she's at or the same facilities. 78 people who she was working with. 78 people who was benefiting from the $250 million. So clearly, if she's going to be threatened with 30 years, of course she ratted. She's not going to be loyal to any of those people. She don't give a shit about those people, really. She used those people to get the money. Of course, politicians are next. You're right. Waltz. The Waltz guy's next. Guarantee that Waltz guy is next. They're going after that Waltz guy. It won't look good for them. Trump wants that guy's head. Trump doesn't like that guy. Mr. Donald Trump, he does not like that guy. He's going after him, and he's going to go after more. He wants to be busy. Elias too. Yes, yes. He's going after everybody. This is like a movie. This lady was living it up. First, she had a career. This is greedy. She has a job, right? She was making some type of all right money. It wasn't enough, and she created a scheme. Some people might think somebody else was giving her that scheme, like above her, but she was part of this scheme. She thought she would not get caught because she worked for this nonprofit organization. She thought she wasn't getting caught. She was never going to get caught. I hope you guys know that. She thought she was going to be safe and do this scam and get all this money from the government. But what ends up happening, the Ministry of Education got suspicious of her and they reported her to the FBI. And probably some people were jealous. You're right. They seen that she had all this stuff, this luxury cars, and she was living the life. They reported her ass, and now that's where you see where she is. Why aren't there any protests other than Minnesota? Deflect. I heard there's some other protests in some other places. Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard there's other protests, but not as big. I was hearing there's other protests, but they were not as big. But there's other protests. You're right. Let me read that again for you, Mike Curley. Why aren't there any protests other than Minneapolis? Right? You're right. You're right. I'm hearing there's other places, but it's not really that big. It's not really that big until he goes there, until ICE brings more people at other places. But now he's concentrating slowly. He's still got 3 years, man. He doesn't need to rush. Trump still got 3 years. Remember that. So he's going to work Minnesota for a while. He already worked California. He worked California. He's working Minnesota. And then he's going to work somewhere else. Well, Portland is under constant protest. Probably Portland's next. Portland's probably next. Guaranteed, Portland is next. Whoever's trying to jump out on Trump, talk against ICE, you're next. 100%. That's all Portland does is protest. Haha. Well, keep protesting. Hopefully, there's no illegals in Portland. Hopefully, there's no corruption in Portland because it's not just Minnesota, it's all over America. It's not just Minnesota, it's not just Somalis, it's not just white people, it's not just black people, it's all people. It's all people. But the media, you cannot hide from the elephant in the room. The media is spotlighting this group out there. What are Somalis? Somali Americans, and saying that they're scamming the American government. They've been saying it for weeks. A lot of people don't know about this story, Aimee Bock. They've been saying it. They've been saying it. They never tell you the location. But believe what you want to believe. Do your research. Please, I encourage a lot of you to do your research. When you watch the media, you cannot believe everything they say. This lady's story was around from COVID times. It got overshadowed from COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement. So nobody really took it seriously until now. People are taking it seriously, right? Now they're taking it seriously. And she has all types of excuses. She's playing victim, right? And she's not innocent. Like I said, I see this picture. It's not AI, courtesy of Facebook. Her and her boyfriend, her ex boyfriend, right? Scammers. He scams a lot. He kind of exposed a lot. He's probably one of the people who's been talking a lot, right? Talking a lot. But please subscribe, people. Like, comment, all that good stuff. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Down to Earth Network, on iHeartRadio, and yeah, all podcast platforms. You could check us out. This is a controversial subject once again, and Trump is involved in it in some type of way. His name always comes up in all the headline stories, and this lady is probably going to serve a lot of time unless she rats out more people, right? If she rats some people out, maybe it might get cut down to 10, maybe 5 years, but I doubt that with $250 million stolen from taxpayers, working hard Americans, 250 million given to stereotypically immigrant illegals, right? A lot of them are legal people, the Somalians, but that's the stereotype, what's going out there, that she was helping these people. And a lot of people don't know the difference from Somali people who are American born to illegal people. The point is that community looks bad because of this story. And you have ICE out there going after people who they say are illegal, but it's affecting other American people. Right now, there's people out in the streets, American citizens, patriots, saying they want to fight against this system and they feel that it's wrong and unjust, right? That's what's going on, people. Aimee Bock story. It's the Aimee Bock story related to the fraud, what's been going on in America, right? People get in their emotions, people all have their opinions, but the fact is that it's not just because they've been pushing that narrative. It's not just Somalis who's been doing the Minnesota fraud. It's not just them. It's people who are normal, not say normal, but generational Americans been doing the fraud. Google said the Somalian population is about 80,000 to 100,000 from the 90s war as refugees. She started a company. She had them sign up and then sent for the money grant. From 1990, how old is it? She wouldn't be, she would have been, you must be talking about somebody else, right? Okay, well, you're saying the people. Okay, let me read that. Google said the Somali population is 80,000 to 100,000 from the 1990s war. As refugees, she started a company and she said she signed them up. So you mean she started a company later on because 1990 she would have been in high school. She's only in her what 40s, right? She's only in her 40s. She would have been a little kid, so it couldn't be her from 1990s, right? The war was in the 1990s. So Aimee Bock was a teenager or a little kid or something like that back then. You know how long the 1990s is? It's 25 years. She's about 45 or something. So 25 years ago, she was 20 years old. The 1990s, she was in her teens. It wasn't her. It was the American government that brought the refugees over. It probably was other people. She started this stuff in like 2000 and like she started doing her whole career type of stuff like 2016, if not a little bit before that. She's not old. She's not a 60, 70-year old, right? She's not 60 or 70. She's only like 40, in her 40s. So they came here as temporary protective status. So those people who came as adults in the 90s, guaranteed they had children, and those children are probably in their 30s, 40s, right? 30s and 40s, those kids, and now those kids probably have kids themselves. So now what's going to happen is the grandparents, some of them who came here as adults in the 90s, their kids who are adults themselves might get deported, and the ones who are born in America will they will be split up. They will be split up. Or there'll be the ones who came and had children in America. They'll be all right. Those ones, if they came in 1990 or in the 90s somehow and they had children, they're around in their 30s now, they will be all right if they were born in America. And the grandkids will be all right. So the population has grown since 1990. The population has grown. So the moral of the story is, don't believe the hype that it's just Somalis that are doing the scams. Look at everybody, because what I just talked about, this lady, Aimee Bock, her boyfriend was part of doing tax scams, all types, or not paying his taxes, doing all types of shit, buying expensive cars, jewelry, vacations. And this guy is American. They're not talking about deporting him. This guy's American, right? Or even if he's a citizen or shit. They're not saying like he's illegal or anything. I don't even think he's in Somali, right? So it's everybody they're looking at, and they got to do it like that. They got to make it. They can't just target one group, right? They can't just target one group, because now it's looking obvious. They're going after everybody. Everybody. When the ice is out there, they're going after everybody right now. They don't know who is who, right? So when they stop you with the ID, they first want to see your status. And then after your status, right? If you have any record, like I said, you owe taxes, and that's how they get you. You owe taxes, right? To the IRS. You have a criminal record, you have a warrant. That's how they getting you. So her boyfriend is one of them. That's an example. Her boyfriend is one of them. They got him, right? Right. But that's a lot of people. Easy to find people to use for this fraud. Yes, you're right. It's easy to find people for this fraud. And they got the boyfriend. That's an example. They got her, and then they got the boyfriend. And after the boyfriend, there's probably more people. Maybe the boyfriend even told his friends how to do fraud. Guaranteed. He learned that from her, right? And now he probably taught other people. Guaranteed he learned all his skills from the lady, right? It's facts. He learned all his skill from the ladies, learned it, and gave it to his friends. That's why there's 78 other people who are arrested in the same, I guess, facility, same situation. Maybe not that bad like her, but they're accusing her of getting $250 million, not $10, people, not $200, not even $100,000, not $500,000, $250 million, and that's your money. Hard working, right? Hard working. You're still on here. You is a fan, Catwa. But anyways, people, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, right? Support the network. Gonna have more episodes. This one is basically still fresh, a fresh story, controversial story. I'm just looking at pictures right now with this guy Watson. This guy's like posing with a white, nice sports vehicle with his friend in it. Yes, stealing a lot of money. Mm-mm. Unreported. taxable income by hundreds of thousands of dollars and even failed to file his return to pay income tax. He owes 64,000 in income tax according to the department. Has an office in Israel. Maybe ICE has an office in Israel. Maybe ICE has an office in Israel. Yo, Catwalk, you listen close. How you know I have a dog? How do you know I have a dog? They do. Why would they? Oh, Lee, you really listen close. But people, please subscribe, man. Please subscribe. This story will continue. Guarantee it's gonna unfold. All I'm seeing, like when that one of the people in the chat told me that the boyfriend he was scamming too, owing all these taxes. That's her. That's her, man. He's stupid. She should have advised him to kind of cover himself a little bit more. She didn't give a shit. She just wanted a good time. Right? I'm going to read this one more time because it'll go over people's head. The former boyfriend of Feeding Our Futures founder, Aimee Bock, was charged with tax crimes earlier this month. So earlier this month, he was charged. It's probably her who talked. According to the news release from Minnesota Department of Revenue, Empress Malcolm Watson Jr. faces 2 counts of filing false and fraudulent tax returns, 1 count of failing to file individual income tax returns, 3 counts of failing to pay income tax. So that's what it is, people. They should done fraud better. You're damn right. They should have done fraud better. You're damn right. Even if they do, what of it? Every nation has ICE. Yes. But anyways, people, thanks for joining the chat, the podcast. Much respect. Please subscribe. This is the Down to Earth podcast, the Down to Earth network with your host, Sean Myrie. Yeah, I'm out.